Chris.
Before we begin the formal meeting tonight, the city would like to present a proclamation. I'm going to go ahead and read the proclamation on Epilepsy Association, and this is Epilepsy Awareness Month. And I've got a proclamation to read, and then those that will receive it, we're going to ask you to go to the microphone. I think you have some words to share with us. Following that time, we're going to invite you down to take a picture with the city commissioners. The proclamation reads, whereas epilepsy is a neurological disorder affecting more than 3.4 million Americans, including 470,000 children, making it one of the most common and often misunderstood neurological conditions. Whereas increased awareness and education help reduce stigma, promote understanding, and encourage those living with epilepsy to seek appropriate treatment and support. And whereas organizations and community partners play a vital role in advocacy and research, and the city commends the local Texas Roadhouse for its continued partnership in raising awareness through its annual fundraiser supporting epilepsy education and research. Whereas November is nationally recognized as Epilepsy Awareness Month, a time to honor individuals and families affected by epilepsy and to affirm our commitment to building a more inclusive and informed community. Now, therefore, I, Rob Rue, Mayor of the City of Springfield and President of our Commission, do hereby proclaim November 2025 as Epilepsy Awareness Month in Springfield, and we do encourage our citizens to support ongoing efforts that improve understanding, treatment, and quality of life for those living with epilepsy. If I could ask those that would like to speak if they would go to the microphones on either side. If you don't mind while you're doing that, introduce yourself. Share with us. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Crystal Hall. I am the Executive Director for Epilepsy Foundation Ohio. I am honored to accept this proclamation recognizing November as Epilepsy Awareness Month, and to thank you for standing all in, which is our theme for this month, for epilepsy awareness. Your recognition today sends a powerful message that the city of Springfield stands with the thousands of Ohioans, over 130,000 of Ohioans who live with epilepsy every single day. It's through community partnerships like this that we help bring epilepsy out of the shadows and into the light, replacing misunderstanding with knowledge and stigma with support. At the Epilepsy Foundation Ohio, our mission is to improve the lives of individuals living with epilepsy through education, advocacy, research, and connection. We provide seizure recognition and first aid training for law enforcement, schools, communities, organizations, municipalities, and so much more. We connect families to resources, advocate for equitable health care and employment opportunities, and bring people together to build supportive communities where everyone belongs. One of our proudest advocacy efforts and champion is Seizure Safe Schools legislation, ensuring that every student with epilepsy can learn in a safe, supportive environment where staff are trained to recognize and respond to seizures. This is how awareness becomes action and how policy changes lives. We do this in the memory of past students like Morgan Tackett and Sarah Landardis, and present and future students. This year, our theme is All In for Epilepsy Awareness. To us, that means going beyond awareness. It means being all in for inclusion, education, research, and compassion. It means standing with every individual and every family impacted by epilepsy. Because when we go all in together, we build a future where no one faces epilepsy alone. Our vision is just that, so that no one faces epilepsy alone. Thank you, City of Springfield, for your leadership and your partnership. Together, we are helping create communities that understand, support, and empower those living with epilepsy. We are grateful to stand here today, all in for epilepsy awareness, all in for our families, and all in for the future filled with, again, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Travis Shearing. I'm the managing partner down here at Texas Roadhouse. Just wanted to say thank you for being allowed to be here, speak on behalf of epilepsy. In the past 10 years, epilepsy's touched not only my Roadhouse family, but my close friends and even my personal family many times. November 19th, 2017, I received a phone call from a very close friend, coworker, asking if I'd spoken to another close friend of mine who was a coworker. He wasn't at work. No one had talked to him, and it was very much unlike him. When we were finally able to gain access, my friend had passed away from a seizure in his sleep. Fast forward a couple of years, and I'm here in Springfield at Texas Roadhouse, and we lost not only one, but two roadies to epilepsy-related issues, Morgan and Caitlin. Then in November of 2019, I welcomed my first and only son. May of 2020, my wife's motherly instincts kick in, and she insists on taking him to the emergency room of Children's Hospital in Centerville, where I live. Me thinking that my wife was just being a little overprotective. I mean, my son has a massive head, thank me. And he was just having little head nods. And I thought, he's just having a hard time holding his head up. But no, about an hour later, I received a phone call from my wife. She was following the ambulance to the main camp Children's Hospital. My son had been diagnosed with infantile spasms, which is a form of epilepsy. Very rare. We all know what was going on in May of 2020. My son ends up in the hospital for a week, hooked up to EEGs, ends up on medication that shut down his immune system for almost 9 months in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. Not an easy time for my wife and I. Only one parent allowed in the room with him at a time. We all know who won that battle, and it was not. So we would go in, and I would spend an hour with my son every other day for a week while my wife went home and took a shower. I'm happy to say my story has a little bit of a happier ending. After 9 months, we were able to wean him off medications. My son to this day has not had any other seizures. We have no reason what caused it, or hopefully that it never comes back, but there's always that worry. All of these people that we've mentioned are the reasons that we at Texas Roadhouse find it very important to support the Epilepsy Foundation. It's a daily thing for us that we look around and we see the reminders of what it is. We will continue support with our community fest that we have every September or August, time permitting. We're currently in the midst of our toy drive that we do for Dayton Children's Hospital every November, and we also have kind of donates throughout the year, where 10% of the fundraiser, or the funds for that fundraiser, are dedicated to the Epilepsy Foundation. We have 2 upcoming on November 26th and another one on November 30th. If anybody would like flyers, we have some of the board has, we have some back here. But again, I would just like to thank the city and Epilepsy for the time to come, and you can always count on Texas Roadhouse to be there to support you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sharon DeVore.
Sharon, would you put your mic?
Oh.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, sorry. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sharon DeVore, and my daughter, Sarah Leonardos, was born and raised here in Springfield. At the age of 15 years old, she was diagnosed with epilepsy. Sarah had many seizures over the years, which affected her life as well as our whole families, as seizures are very unpredictable. Sarah had nocturnal seizures, but the doctors always said that she could have them anytime, which was our fear when sending her off to school every day and then to college, where she graduated from the Ohio State University Fisher College of Business in 2014. In the fall of 2017, Sarah began to have uncontrolled seizures, which means her medication no longer stopped her seizures. As her doctor increased her medication little by little, she continued to have seizures, and on June 17th, 2018, Sarah tragically passed away in her sleep from SUDEP, sudden unexpected death in epilepsy, at the age of 26 years old. Our hearts were forever broken. That is when we first came in contact with the Epilepsy Foundation. As we had memorial donations made to them, they also helped us navigate the understanding of what SUDEP was, which we had no idea at the time what it even was. Months after her death, my son, Zach, was also diagnosed with epilepsy at the age of 23 years old. A year later, my advocacy journey began. In September of 2019, I began working on a committee with the Epilepsy Alliance of Ohio on a bill for seizure smart schools. And in 2020, our family was asked if we would do them the honor of naming the bill Sarah's Law after our daughter. In 2022, we then joined forces with the Epilepsy Foundation, as we were both working on similar bills at the same time. The bill then became known as Sarah's Law for seizure-safe schools. It was passed and signed into law on July 4th of 2023 as part of House Bill 33 signed by Governor Mike DeWine. Sarah's Law requires all school personnel to receive seizure first aid training. It requires schools to have individualized seizure action plans in collaboration with the parent or guardian and a healthcare professional for all students diagnosed with a seizure disorder. It also requires at least one employee at each school building to be trained in the implementation of seizure action plans every 2 years. No parent should ever have to lose a child to epilepsy. This law is truly life-changing to the children of Ohio. And thank you to the Epilepsy Foundation for all that you do every day to help those living with epilepsy and their family, including ours. Awareness is the key to helping those living with epilepsy. Thank you.
Thank you. I can invite those that spoke, and as well as the representatives, if you'd like to come over and get a picture with us, and we'll present the proclamation to you. Okay, the formal meeting of City Commission is called to order. Clerk, call the roll.
Mrs. Brown?
Here.
Dr. Estrop?
Here.
Mrs. Houston?
Here.
Mrs. Tackett?
Here.
Mr. Rue?
Here, please stand for the invocation and the pledge. Father, I ask that you would be with us tonight as we legislate and go through our meeting with we serve our city. As for peace in our community, you be with those families that have been affected with epilepsy. Ask that this would be an excellent month of fundraising and we would mark this time of support in your name. Amen. Pledge allegiance. Is there a motion to approve minutes?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Clerk, call the roll.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Dr. Estrop?
I'll abstain, I was not here.
Mrs. Houston?
Yes.
Mrs. Tackett?
Yes.
Mr. Rue?
Yes. The commission, City Commission remains committed to creating an environment for constructive dialogue and engagement for our community. Those wishing to speak need to fill out a comment card, provide their name and address for the record, and present a state-issued driver's license or state-issued ID. And filling the information out, they must reside in Springfield or Clark County. They'll be permitted to speak during the comment period. Comment cards will be accepted up to 15 minutes after the start of the formal legislative meeting. Those who are determined to provide false information will not be permitted to speak tonight or at the next regularly scheduled meeting. We are committed to making a meeting where the environment, where people have the opportunity to share their ideas, thoughts, and concerns. We fully respect the First Amendment rights of all individuals. Disruptions and/or of any kind that impedes the orderly progress of the meeting will not be tolerated. Should any individuals be escorted or asked to leave due to disruptive behavior on 3 separate occasions, they'll be notified that they are considered trespass and barred from attending further City Commission meetings. After the public comment period time, the City Commission will respond to matters brought forth during the public comment period and will also direct the city manager and staff to answer questions posed during the public comment period. If a question asked that needs additional research, the city manager and staff, they'll follow up with the individual in the next several business days, and we will post the answers on the city website. Ask Mr. Gary Armstrong to come to the mic and begin with comments.
Because my name begins with A, or you just want to get me to say my stuff and get out?
By the way, our clock is not working, so we're keeping time up here.
Well, better give me a countdown because I'm not very good. You know, I had a revelation the other morning. I said, I woke up and I thought, I've gotten old. But 2 things that I do still have besides not being young. And I don't want people to think just because I come down here and I'm angry about things, I'm not angry. I can be in a fight with somebody and take them home the next second. But I thrive on honesty and kind of loving people. And love and honesty equals integrity. And I was drawn in here because my neighbor, oh, you've heard me say this 20 times. An elected official of this body followed nothing of his oath and violated the rules every day. I thought, isn't that two-faced? Isn't that everything that we don't want to be? He's not honest and he's not kind. Because I'm just a citizen who lives in his neighborhood, but he's an invader. He's an LLC who's in there to make money where I live as a single or a owner-occupied. He doesn't care. And yet he thinks he's got an oath and he's living it up and he's a cool dude. No, he's not cool. He's not giving love, not giving consideration, not giving kindness. He's violating his oath and he violates me as a citizen while he sits there. That's what brought me here. And the night I outed him, as he said, when he was in my backyard, cussing me and MFing me, I was kind of laughing at him. I didn't react. I was thinking, this guy's a fool. but he wouldn't admit of making a 4-unit. Now, if I moved in next door to you and turned my single family into a 4-unit and all of a sudden there was 12 cars, would you be mad? Especially if he was an elected official? No, I was incensed because it's my house, it's my property. I'm a poor guy who grew up in Home Orchards, in the cheapest house in Home Orchards from a city fireman. And I've worked for a nonprofit called OIC for 16, 18 years. So if you think I'm mean and don't have love and kindness, I didn't work there and enjoy it because I don't have love and kindness. That is me. But when I come here and I see a deal that they put together on the night I was brought in about buying 2 hotels.
30
and
seconds.
Am I done?
30 seconds. Go ahead,
30
Gary.
seconds?
Go ahead.
And it was the most ridiculous deal, so overpriced for what they were going to do. And guess what it did? It failed. And for when we have the 3rd highest paid manager in Ohio, that tells you something. Didn't work. The idea was bad in every respect. And I'll start over there next.
The comments from commissioners? Dr. Esprop?
Great to be back. I want to thank the many get well wishes that I received from people in the community. I got a little more than I asked for when I went in, but I'm on the road to improvement. Still a little sore, but much better than I was, and it's good to be back. So thank all of you and everyone else for the well wish.
I just want to thank the community for being a part of another great year of Downtown Trick or Treat. This was our 9th year. Thank you to the Springfield Police Department, Springfield Fire Department and Rescue, the Sheriff's Department for being a part of that, all the downtown businesses, and the City of Springfield for being a great partner in bringing thousands of people down here. And to Mayor Rue, he was a judge of our Best Witch contest that we added to this year. So
I told you, I won't do clowns. I won't judge
Not
clowns.
the
but
clowns.
witches.
but he did the witches. So the Rose City Witch Group, they really did a phenomenal job in adding to Downtown Trick or Treat this year. I also want to remind everybody to vote. Tomorrow is a big day, so please get out and vote. And then I also want to thank Economic Development Director Tom Franson over there. He and I did a field trip to the Dayton Airport today and had a great experience with Gil and Melissa down there, learning about everything happening down at their airport. Always looking for great ideas to bring back to our own city. So thank you to Tom.
One of the items on the ballot tomorrow is we're doing charter review. We have some charter amendments on the ballot. I'd like the city manager to maybe go ahead and re-explain that to the public, what they'll be voting on.
Thank you, Commission. And I know we had some questions that came up earlier, so thank you for coming and bringing that up. First, it allows lateral entry for the Fire Rescue Division. That means if a firefighter paramedic who is already trained, certified, and serving in another Ohio community wants to join Springfield, we can bring them onto the team without requiring them to start over with a lengthy civil service exam process. These individuals already have the skills, credentials, and the on-the-job experience that our city needs. By opening this pathway, we can fill critical positions more quickly, maintain strong response times, and keep our residents safe when emergencies happen. Second, it designates leadership positions in the police division above the rank of lieutenant as unclassified. This change allows us to consider both internal and external candidates for these key leadership roles. It does not change the competitive promotional process for patrol officers and other classified positions, which remain. This change ensures that when we hire for leadership roles, we can consider the strongest candidates available to guide and support our officers. Strong leadership strengthens the entire department and benefits the community as a whole. These changes are about more than process. They're about people. Our residents rely on our first responders to be there in life's most critical moments. To keep that promise, we must give ourselves the ability to hire and promote effectively, to attract experienced talent and to ensure the best and brightest leadership within our ranks. But I do want to be clear. This amendment does not lower standards. Every candidate, whether lateral entry or otherwise, must meet all state certifications, undergo thorough background checks, and clearly demonstrate the highest levels of skill and integrity through a rigorous application and interview process. What changes is our ability to move more efficiently and strategically in bringing and promoting these qualified individuals onto our team.
Thank you. Any other comments from commissioners? We'll continue with first readings by title only.
Confirming and approving renewal of the agreements with the Huntington National Bank for Treasury Management Depository Services and Security Custody Services for an amount not to exceed $100,000 for the period of November 6th, 2025 through November 5th, 2027. Authorizing the city manager to enter into a master client agreement with the Ohio State University for fiber connection at the Springfield-Beckley Municipal Airport, and confirming and approving related expenditures incurred from July 1, 2025. Authorizing the city manager to enter into amendment number 1 to the subrecipient agreement with Sheltered Inc. for comprehensive solutions for addressing homelessness to reallocate funding among line items.
Would you go ahead and explain a couple of the items?
Yes. Starting with 251-25 as it relates to the master client agreement. This is for fiber connection that provides Wi-Fi to the tenants out at the airport. So think about the hangar tenants, Lone Mountain, which is a business out there. This provides that connectivity for those individuals. The first item, 204-22, is our banking agreement with Huntington National Bank. This is our first of two-year renewal periods that we can exercise. So we went out through a request for proposals and selected Huntington. Again, we had an agreement with them for the previous 3 years, and this allows us to renew for an additional 2-year period for those banking services. And then the last one was Sheltered Inc. So we approved an agreement, the commission approved an agreement earlier this year. And in that, it provided for hotel stays in that. Within those hotel stays, it also had a line item to hire a specific case manager for those hotel operations. Now that line item for hotel operations, they've utilized that, there is still money left over on that case manager side. And so this allows them to move that money to support a case manager position that's going to be housed within the congregate housing that they operate. So it's allowing them to maximize the funding they receive.
Dr. Estrop?
Just to make sure I understand, we're not adding additional funds. We're just simply reallocating what they were given so they can spend it in a different way.
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Comments from commissioners on first readings? Other comments from the audience on first readings only? Hearing none, would you please go to the microphone, Armstrong? On first reading?
Is that contract, can I read that online, or do I have to ask for that to the law department?
No, yes,
Nope,
sir.
that is available online.
Yeah, everything,
Because,
Mr.
you know what,
Armstrong?
anytime people says, how's the
Right.
homeless in a hotel?
Sure.
Whether it's something you purchase or whether it's highly inefficient.
But
That's why I'm thinking if 3 years ago we had a plan
Mhm.
that was efficient, you would be somewhere closer to an end result today, but we aren't.
Thank you, Mr. Armstrong. What this particular is to reallocate funds within the Sheltered Inc. Again, to that they can use it more efficiently, or something. That's my understanding. Correct? Okay, great. Okay, we'll continue with second readings.
Approving and authorizing the execution of a tax increment financing cooperative agreement by and among the City of Springfield, Ohio, West Central Ohio Port Authority, Sycamore Ridge Project 1 LLC, or its designee, and Argent Institutional Trust Company to provide for development in the city.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Other comments from commissioners? Dr. Estrop?
Just wondering if you might give us some additional information on.
Yes, this specific item, Commission, you authorized the execution of a tax increment financing agreement back in 2022 for the Sycamore Ridge project, which is out on the corner of Burnett and Leffel, approximate 220 home, single-family residential development that would occur on the site. This allows for that 30-year, 100% TIF for that project to go towards public infrastructure costs incurred by the developer. They did work in advance with the school district to provide, so this is Clark Shawnee School District. They will provide upfront cash payments at each bond issuance. It's planned to have 3 bonds over the course of this project, and they would provide upfront cash, which is what the school said would help them better with this development because they have to start planning ahead now for additional kids that could come as a result of this.
That's what I recalled, that the school district, which had opposed these kind of arrangements, understood that by getting the money up front, they could actually invest it, make some money, plan for the future. So my understanding was that they did not oppose this at all.
That is accurate, Commission. So the school district certainly recognizes that the state of Ohio has provided this tool as a resource to communities, not just here in Springfield, but across Ohio. And so they were trying to work knowing that these agreements, these TIFs would be in place, that they would have at least an opportunity to make it work for them. And then this specific item, why we're seeing that again off of 2022, is this adds West Central Ohio Port Authority into the project itself.
Comments from the audience? Clerk, call the roll.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Dr. Estrop?
Yes,
Mrs. Houston?
Yes.
Mrs. Tackett?
Yes.
Mr. Rue?
Yes.
Authorizing the city manager to execute an environmental covenant by and among the Clark County Land Reutilization Corporation, the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency, and the city for the former Greater Euclid Element site located at 501 to 504 Euclid Avenue and 1029 Plum Street.
so move.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Other comments from commissioners? Dr. Estrop?
I was wondering if you might give us some
Yeah.
additional information on this.
So again, Commission, specifically on this is we work closely with the land bank to do environmental remediation assessments. So phase 1 and phase 2 assessments on the property located in the southwest quadrant of our community, known as the Greater Euclid Elements site. Includes the old Euclid Elements factory, but then also what was known as the sunflower field, and making sure that those were clean to a standard so that they could be redeveloped. And if you had an opportunity, I know it was at least in the online section today, but the land bank moved forward with breaking ground on a new park feature that will be where the Euclid Elements factory once stood. So already starting to see the fruits of that work to bring those properties and put them back into productive use for the community. And you'll see some additional projects like new housing and so forth in that quadrant as well.
As I recall, that site was a real problem for us for many years, not only in terms of health, but safety also. And we did, in fact, manage to get the building down. But I think there was some real question about the toxic level of the ground itself. So I'm glad to see this going on. I know the park is planned there where the plant was or building was, and houses are planned in other parts of it. So we want to see this be successful, but we certainly want to make sure that everybody is safe and secure and not having to worry about toxic chemicals on the site.
Other comments from the audience? Clerk, call the roll.
Dr. Estrop?
Yes,
Mrs. Houston?
Yes.
Mrs. Tackett?
Yes.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Rue?
Yes. Continue with emergency ordinances.
Confirming and approving the issuance of a purchase order for monthly access fees for Mark's radio communication system equipment from the Ohio Department of Administrative Services, Office of Information Technology, for an amount not to exceed $32,100. for the period of July 1, 2025 through June 30, 2026, and declaring an emergency therein.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Are there comments from commissioners from the audience? This is just our annual fee for tying in the state mark system, right?
Yeah,
I should have
this-
said that before I called.
Yeah,
for a
this
vote.
fuels
Sorry.
our 800 megahertz radio system.
Clerk, call the roll.
Mrs. Houston?
Yes.
Mrs. Tackett?
Yes.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Dr. Estrop?
Yes.
Mr. Rue?
Yes.
Dedicating .149 acres of city-owned real property located near the intersection of South Limestone Street and East Pleasant Street as public right-of-way and declaring an emergency therein.
So moved.
Been moved and seconded. Are there comments from commissioners? Dr. Estrop?
What's going on?
Yeah, so we're doing a project, decorative streetlight replacement project along South Fountain and South Limestone, and specifically up near South Limestone and East Pleasant Street. There's an area of land that is a parcel now, and we're cleaning it up and dedicating it back as public right-of-way, which is what it should be. But when that entire intersection was done, it's just left some straggler pieces of land that need to be corrected. So,
That'll be great, because it's certainly a gateway into the city.
yes.
It'd be nice to have it cleaned up. Thank you.
Comments from the audience? Clerk, call the roll.
Mrs. Tackett?
Yes.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Dr. Estrop?
Yes.
Mrs. Houston?
Yes.
Mr. Rue?
Yes.
Confirming and approving change order number 1 to the contract between the city and Majors Enterprises Incorporated for the Henry Street Sewer Replacement Project to increase the contract in an amount not to exceed $152,060 for a total amount not to exceed $1,830,201.69, and to extend the completion date to November 8th, 2025, authorizing the city manager to execute said change order number 1 and declaring an emergency therein.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there comments from commissioners from the audience? Clerk, call the roll.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Dr. Estrop?
Yes.
Mrs. Houston?
Yes.
Mrs. Tackett?
Yes.
Mr. Rue?
Yes.
Authorizing the city manager to submit an airport improvement program grant application through the Ohio Department of Transportation, Office of Aviation, in an amount up to $89,171 for the Taxiway C realignment project at the Springfield-Beckley Municipal Airport, and accept funding if approved, authorizing the city manager, law director, airport manager, and the director of finance to do all things necessary for the submission of the application and acceptance of the grant, and to comply with all relevant local, state, and federal legal requirements, and declaring an emergency therein.
So moved.
Been moved and seconded. You want to go ahead and speak to the grant or have?
Yeah, actually, I'll ask Seth Timmerman, our airport manager, if he wants to speak to this.
Yeah, so this is currently a project that's underway, Taxiway Charlie, replacement and realignment. So this was a 95% funded project from the FAA with a 5% local match. And then here recently, within the last 2 or 3 months, the state of Ohio stepped up and said they would cover the other 5% for this year and next year on local projects. So it's 100% funded, 95% from FAA and 5% from the state of Ohio.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and
Great.
hopefully we'll have that done later this month. What it
Great.
holds out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Other comments from the audience? Clerk, call the roll.
Dr. Estrop?
Yes.
Mrs. Houston?
Yes.
Mrs. Tackett?
Yes.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Rue?
Yes.
Providing for supplemental appropriations within various funds and declaring an emergency therein.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. You want to go ahead and speak to a few of these? Katie?
Certainly, Mayor and Commissioners. So just a reminder, supplemental appropriations are adjustments that can be both increases and decreases to the budget or appropriations that Commission has already approved. Would like to highlight here that this specific list reflects a reduction of approximately $1 million in appropriations or budget within our general fund. And that's a result of going through departmental budget meetings as we look at ensuring that the city is financially sustainable moving forward for the years to come.
Thank you. Comments from commissioners from the audience? Clerk, call the roll.
Mrs. Houston?
Yes.
Mrs. Tackett?
Yes.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Dr. Estrop?
Yes.
Mr. Rue?
Yes.
confirming purchases and the obtaining of services for the city. Let me start over. Confirming purchases and the obtaining of services for the city and providing for payments therefore and declaring an emergency therein.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, same.
Certainly, Mayor and Commissioners. So again, just a reminder, as we talk about transparency, the city's charter requires that anytime the city incurs a moral obligation, so we are obligated to pay for a service or good that we have received, and we've not put a purchase order in place prior to receiving that good or service, that commission approve all of those invoices for payment. The reason that this is an emergency is because that vendor has already provided that good or service, and so we are obligated to make a timely payment to that vendor and should not punish them and ensure that we keep a strong vendor relationship. Just some examples of the ones on the list tonight. As you're aware, over the last several meetings, you've approved grant agreement through HUD and grant agreements through FDA and through the state of Ohio that require time, and there's delays certainly on those sides with the state and federal governments and getting those in place. But that means that we don't have that purchase order in place at the time that that service was provided in the fund that needs to pay for that service. So those are the majority of the invoices that are on that moral obligation list tonight. And a reminder for the audience, that full list can be viewed on the city's website.
Estrop?
Wondering, the shutdown affecting us, particularly in terms of cash flow and necessitating some of the things that we have here? And if so, to what degree? Do you have any sense of it, Katie?
As far as cash flow currently, no. As we submit for reimbursements, we are receiving those from the federal government. I think we are just sitting and waiting for guidance where if that is to change, where if the money runs out or the folks are not there to approve those. Where we are encountering delays is if we have questions or require assistance from agencies like HUD. There's no one available to answer those questions.
So we're sort of working in the dark in those cases.
That's a good way to describe it.
Okay, thank you.
Any comments from the audience? Clerk, call the roll.
Mrs. Tackett?
Yes.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Dr. Estrop?
Yes.
Mrs. Houston?
Yes.
Mr. Rube?
Yes.
We have one item added to the agenda. That's an emergency. Authorizing the city manager to enter into a subrecipient funding agreement with Second Harvest Food Bank of Clark, Champaign, and Logan counties to provide CDBG funding to support food distribution, hunger relief, and community food security services within the city of Springfield in an amount not to exceed $50,000 and declaring an emergency therein.
So
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded.
Yes, Commission, I'm going to ask Logan Cobbs, our Community Development Director, to speak to this item.
Mayor Rue, Commissioners, good evening. Logan Cobbs, Director of Community Development. So we know that food insecurity continues to be one of the most urgent and visible needs in our community. With recent stalls in SNAP benefits, more families will be utilizing Second Harvest Food Bank and finding themselves stretched thin and turning to Second Harvest and our local pantries for help. Our food bank, Second Harvest, and partner agencies are seeing and will likely continue to see record demand that far outpaces the resources that are currently available. Keeping in mind that Second Harvest already saw cuts earlier this year. I know Dr. Estrop has talked a lot about that, those cuts that they saw from USDA earlier this year, so keeping that in mind as well. I did have an opportunity to meet with the Second Harvest team last week in the midst of all of the uncertainty and disruption. I will say I was very encouraged by the work that continues to be done. They spoke a lot about doubling their food order for the month of November just to keep up with the need that's currently in Springfield, in Clark County, and other communities that they serve. They talked about providing pop-up pantries for employees that are currently furloughed from work, and then also how they're diligently working to keep dollars local. So working with a lot of local farmers to make sure that those dollars are staying here in Springfield and Clark County. And I want to say that they're doing all of that with limited staff as well. So they've also felt, like many of our agencies have, the need to eliminate roles. So they're continuing to do great work with limited staff, but the need still remains. So with that, we are recommending awarding $50,000 to Second Harvest Food Bank. This will cover food, transportation, labor, fuel, packaging, and then we'll also cover all of the maintenance fees for our local pantries as well, making sure that they're not seeing any cost for delivery. I will say that I saw Alex Jackson here. He's the new executive director for Second Harvest Food Bank. So I'm sure he's willing to answer any questions on operations as well. And I'm here to answer any questions you may have too. Thank you.
I would just like to hear from you, and then we could follow up with questions if you already have something prepared. No,
Okay.
It makes
Gonna
way
wing it.
more sense to let you speak first.
Hi, I'm Alex Jackson. I'm the new executive director of Second Harvest and a new member of the community. I closed on a house Thursday here in Springfield. So
Welcome.
I'm happy to live here now and not be driving in from Columbus. So thank you for considering helping Second Harvest here. We have seen a drastic uptick in need recently. We have reduced staff by 4, our head count by 4 to try to meet the need. We're now a staff of 17 serving 3 counties. We serve over 50,000 individuals every year. That's unduplicated individuals that we see have this need. We support over 65 community pantries where the majority of the food that they get comes from us. We have in the last month seen double the need come through. We actually ran out of food at a mobile pantry last week and had to start sending more out. So we are being stretched very thin. I've already pulled into next year's food budget. So we spent about $100,000 of what we had budgeted for food for next year already. And that is without this stretching on. Now, we did hear today that some SNAP benefits are going to be coming, but it's going to be about half of what recipients were originally expecting. So we're going to see a continual need. And on top of that, we've also seen federal workers not paid. We did a distribution to the Air Force Base last Thursday where we distributed over $20,000 worth of food to our federal workers here, members in uniform that have not been paid. So we're getting hit from all different directions right now, and we could really use this help. So I just thank you all for considering this, and I'm happy to answer any question.
I think I heard on the popular media today that there would be no money provided between now and mid-November out of the emergency funds that are available to support SNAP. Did I understand that correctly?
That's correct. We don't exactly know what day it's coming. There is a federal ruling that came down in a couple states that said the federal government actually has to pay SNAP benefits. But because we've already passed the initial date that they come, it's significantly delayed. And then they're trying to determine what percentage they send out to recipients. So it would be at least by the middle of the month before SNAP benefits start flowing.
So, assuming the commission approves this tonight, we're filling a very large gap in part, clearly not totally, but helping fill a gap in service that was filled by the federal government at one.
Correct.
Thanks for all the hard work you're doing.
Thank you.
Glad to have you.
I'm happy to be.
I do have a follow-up question. Do you guys need volunteers at this time?
We could. We've had several volunteers call out recently, which results in our staff having to stop working with our programs. So if anyone wants to volunteer, you can go to our website. There's a section to sign up to volunteer or call. And we're more than happy to talk with you and get you signed up to volunteer.
I'm going to go
What's
ahead and
that
give us
website?
Yeah,
and the phone number. Yep.
Yep, it's the shfb.org / I think don't or volunteer. And then our main phone number is 937-325-8715.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for all that you do. And Logan, thanks for you and your team putting this together. If people want to make cash donations, what's the easiest way to do that?
So the easiest way to make cash donations is you can drop them off directly at the food bank, and we can give you a receipt. We are a 501c3. So that is a tax deductible donation. So we can give you a tax receipt when you drop it off, or you can send it in the mail to us. We don't necessarily recommend sending cash in the mail. You can send a check through the mail if you would like. I can give the address to the food bank if that would be helpful.
Sure.
Yeah. It is 20 North Murray Street, Springfield, Ohio, 45503.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I too want to just thank you for the work that you're doing and welcome you officially
Thank
to
you.
the community. Maybe this is more of a question for Logan, but is there or can we create a comprehensive list of what is out there with different organizations as we're all trying to work together to fill the gap, whether it's with food or even if we see more of the shelter issues? Is there a place designated that folks can go to look for information like that and resources? And also, can we share that out on social media, on our social media page or website in some way?
Yes, Commissioner, great question. I know the communications team put out some information last week on our social media, but can definitely work with them to have a designated place on the website. I know we have a comprehensive list of pantries throughout the community that are broken out by regions. The Springfield City School District did a great job in creating that, so we can definitely get something up and running and continue to add to that as the need arises.
And I've seen concerns, especially about Thanksgiving. We have one meeting left before Thanksgiving, so I would just ask you if you hear of resources in regards to Thanksgiving distribution, either of you maybe share it at the next meeting, or if it needs to be out before then, using the resources we have like social media, website, and anything that I can do, the commission can do to help push that information out. You know, you can count on us.
Absolutely. Thank you for saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Comments from the audience? Clerk, call the roll.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Dr. Estrop?
Yes.
Mrs. Houston?
Yes.
Mrs. Tackett?
Yes.
Mr. Rue?
Yes.
We have a motion approving the 2026 calendar of the City Commission meetings to be held on Tuesdays in the City Hall Forum, except for Friday, January 2nd, Monday, May 4th, and Monday, May 2nd. The City Commission retreat scheduled for Wednesday and Thursday, March 18 and 19 at NOMC, 1323 West Blee Road, and the budget meetings scheduled for Monday and Tuesday, November 9th and 10th in the Gothard Room, City Hall, second floor.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. Comments from commissioners? Dr.
I
Estrop?
think you guys ought to meet more often.
Stop.
What do you think, guys?
Well,
Maybe weekly.
Comments from the audience? I'd like you to
you
break
were not
down
going to get.
I'd like you to break down all our meeting time over the last year and see how much time we've spent in meetings next. Sorry for the distraction. The comments from the audience? Clerk, call the roll.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Dr. Estrop?
Yes.
Mrs. Houston?
Yes.
Mrs. Tackett?
Yes.
Mr. Rue?
Yes. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Clerk, call the roll.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Dr. Estrop?
Yes.
Mrs. Houston?
Yes.
Mrs. Tackett?